Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to Apocrypha. Um it's going to be a weird one. Sorry for no music. Oh, I forgot to do the what do you want to call it? I forgot to add the transition thing on there. It doesn't matter, but it looks janky and cheap like when I just hit it, it transitions just like just cut fades into us. It's kind of like not a big fan
It'll
of that.
be all right.
It'll be fine. It'll be okay. So sorry. No Dyra. I mean, there is a Dyra. Dyra's over there. I mean, you can't really see her, but you can kind of see the top of her head. Top of her. But yeah, she's not feeling well, so she has decided to not partake in this evening's festivities. We were supposed to have Robert Mortem on with us this evening. He had agreed to come on. Sent him a message probably about 20 minutes ago, almost 30 minutes ago. He has yet to see it. So we may not have a Robert Mortem this evening, but that's okay. That is some goofy looking ears on that dog. Goofy fucking ears.
Here's my buddy.
Look at the Mexican
pee on my
Batman
feet.
over there.
I pee on my feet.
Right. So welcome to Apocrypha. So it is this evening Rook, Mystic, and myself. Gonna be fun. Rook, apparently he's muted because apparently he's got some chick over there squeaking on toys. So
The box is squeaking. Her box is squeaking.
her box is squeaking.
There's another word for that.
That sounds like a medical issue.
That's also
Shouldn't
accurate.
be squeaking. Oh, fuck's sake. That was good. That was good, Rook. This is what happens when you do a podcast with two gay men. The vaginal jokes just kind of flow.
Teeth. Show me a teeth.
So
Terrible
yeah.
movie.
So anyway, Mystic, I am curious. Fucking May vaginal flow, huh?
That is funny.
So yeah, I mean that was completely unintentional, but yeah, it is what it is. Mystic, what deck are you using this evening?
Sorry, the dog that was squeaking her box is now out here licking my arm.
Can't make this shit up, can you?
No. Jesus. You're getting my space, honey.
She must have had a good time squeaking her box, so
I'm telling you. So the deck tonight is
fucking
the
Rook is
companion
dying.
deck. Yeah, go back inside and bother him.
He's trying to be so serious. He's over there just coughing and dying.
She's going over there she's going back in to bother him now.
Oh, it's great.
So this week the deck is the companion to the deck I had last week. So last week was the Rosewood Tarot by Vestige Art, the day. This is the Rosewood Tarot, the night. There it is.
Yep.
Similar, but this is the same perspective. It's a perspective deck. You have the day perspective, what's easily lit, and the night is what's the hidden, what's the undertones, what's the underside of the message of the tarot. So that's the kind of purpose of the deck. So I'm not really going to go through much. It's the same. It's got a blue. It's hard to see out here because it's dark out. It's either blue or black matte foil. We are borderless. It's got some. This is probably one of my favorite types of cards as far as stock goes. It's got this like fabric-y feel to it. And it's just very well made. Like this is one of those that's just phenomenally made deck. So what One of my favorites. This is fast becoming one of my favorites. I have about 5 now that sit on my favorites list. Knocked over this light like 4 times.
Oof. Got really loud. Uh-huh. Hold on. Your audio decided to stop working. Yeah. Say something.
Say something.
There you go.
Say something. I'm giving up on you.
I knew that was coming.
I'll be the one. It's hard to sing and vape at the same time. So I don't know, did it cut out or did any of that go through? Do you know?
No, most of it went through. It was just kind of like the quick read part kind of got cut
Okay.
off.
No bigs. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and we've got a very interesting read. We've got no major arcanas. We've got 3 of the 4 elements. When I read, I talk about this a lot. I look for symbols and information and trends in the cards. You know, what do you see not just in the card itself, but in the layout? And in this particular layout, we don't have any fire. So this is going to be, to me, a read that's lacking action, or there's action missing. That's the first thing to note. There's 2 sevens, a 7 of air and a 7 of earth, and then there's the 3 of waters in between. That's another trend. You have a 3 that's in between 2 sevens. So you think about situations that are stuck or something is caught between 2 things. That kind of informs the read a little bit. So the 7 of air.
Mm.
So in the 7 of air, we're talking about things. That dog's making so much damn noise. She's literally throwing her bone around the kitchen. I can hear it.
Of course she's throwing her bone around. Played with her
She's throwing
box,
a
now she's
bone.
playing with her bone.
Well, you should see how she gives Finn a bath in the morning. It's quite unfortunate to be in the presence of. A 70-pound dog giving a 3-pound dog a bath. It's quite funny. So 7 of air. So think about when 7 of air shows up as this part of, or this idea that we're trying to think through, or we're trying to make a change or make a process through it. Meaning we've had maybe this thing that we've had to think about. This could be, and it could be anything. And especially with this many different elements in it, it is pretty wide ranging. It's pretty generic. But there's this air of trying to think through something, trying to figure out what's the right thing to do.
Mm.
And when you get to the 7, you're like, okay, I thought this was going to work. This felt good, and now there's something kind of coming up. And this is similar to last week's read, where things are progressing to a point, but we're in a moment this week where we have to stop and reconsider what we're doing. So the 7s are really this idea of, you know, we've made it past the halfway mark. We've got to look and make sure it makes sense. So now we're rethinking it. So whatever you're doing or working on right now, it's a good time to stop and rethink. It doesn't mean change anything. It doesn't mean you have to, you know, force something to be different or that it's wrong. It just means it's a good moment to stop and rethink it. Think of it from a different perspective and really make sure that we're including different perspectives in whatever it is we're trying to do. The next card, the 3 of water. The 3 of water is again sandwiched between these 2 sevens. And this is this immature, or I don't really, not immature, but a less mature emotional response to this project or this idea that we're running through. So maybe I don't know, what's some good examples? You had not starting a business, that's a terrible example. A new idea of how you're going to manage your money, or a new idea on what you're going to plan on doing for the next couple weeks, or you're maybe going on vacation and you're trying to plan a trip and you're thinking through all these things, and the 3 of water is saying you're not really thinking clearly. This came up last week. I don't know if we had the 3 last week, but we definitely had some water and some thought process issues and some emotions that weren't really great or effective to what we're trying to do. So the 3 of waters is saying, hey, you might be thinking through something in the beginning. Don't get too over emotional too quick. Don't think that, stay away from superlatives like, oh, that's amazing, or they totally suck. We've got to take our time and really look at the whole process, and we've got to not react emotionally. And then our 7 of earth, which is a really, wow, that was loud. Somebody just honked a horn. This has been a fun night
Didn't hear
already.
anything.
Good. This because my dog's also barking like as he's laying down. So God, it's loud. Seven of Earth. Again, I want to draw us back to this positioning of the cards, the 7-3-7. You can take symbols from that, whatever you want. Maybe you shouldn't be flying right now. But the Seven of Earth is kind of taking you back to that. Again, we're in this moment of things have progressed. Take a stock. The Seven of Earth is always like an inventory card for me. I use the 8 as kind of a way to recognize that you've put all of your heart and soul into something and you've really created something physical or needed. But the 7 is that moment before it where you look at, do I have all the parts in the right place? Did I get all the pieces together? Are they all laid out where they need to be laid out? So 7, I always call it the stock card or the check your stock card, which is make sure that you're not going to run out of things. So it's a little bit of planning. If you want a good outcome or to be comfortable this week or to use the energies in a way that's going to be helpful, I would stay away from action stuff. I would stay away from really making final decisions right now and really use this week to ponder, to think about, to consider, to evaluate what it is we've been working on. Maybe make some minute changes, maybe not, but it is the time to go back and look at it with a clear mind. Don't be over emotional. Pay attention to what you see if it needs to be tweaked before you create that final product. So this is an introspective time frame for the energy that we're running into right now. So I would stick to that. That would be the kind of takeaway is just really paying attention and you know, I hate pondering. I'm thinking pondering because the two pondering pagans, but there's a better word that I can't really pull out of my brain right now. Consideration, maybe like pause with consideration.
Yeah,
There, you know what I'm saying. That I can't find the right
I get
word
it.
for it, but it's pausing for what you're doing and making little small fine tunes and adjustments. And then the big one is don't let things get you over emotional this week. So
There you go.
I need that word. It's gonna bother me all night.
I get it. I get
Hmm,
it.
It's not there.
Not
But
there.
really
Yeah,
cool
good.
deck. Anybody's ever interested? It's called the Vasich. It's Vasich Art is the group that makes it, and the tarot is the Rosewood Tarot, and it's the day and night tarot. So there's a day one and a night one, two completely separate decks. I have some other decks by Vasich Art too, by the way, which are also just they spend the money on the deck. They really take it seriously and come up with some really beautiful stuff. Contemplation. Thank you, Jesus. I mean, not Jesus. Divination Witch. Thank you.
Thank you,
This is a
Jesus.
contemplative week. That is what the word is. We need to be contemplating things and processing them and putting them through, not making final decisions. Thank you. All right. I feel better. We can continue.
Yeah, I mean, I
I've
think
had
I
a
think
lot
it's.
of kratom.
I can tell. No,
Uh-huh.
I'm just drinking a cup of
Having some
coffee.
more.
Yeah. I don't think any decision make is ever really final, is it? Till after like
Well,
it's done.
we can get existential about it, right? Um, we can also say that every decision is final because the moment you make it, it's done. It's gone. The decision not to be sitting in that chair is made and done.
Well, I mean,
But yeah,
you can make a choice, but I think it's the action on the choice, right? I mean, are we assuming that the choice is inherently connected to an action?
could be.
Is like I think like for me, like being as indecisive as I am sometimes, I make a lot of choices and don't act on them. Um,
There's still decisions.
true. So,
And the decision in the end is, if you don't act on them, it didn't occur, and you made the decision not to act on it, which in itself is a decision. It's just like silence is communication, right?
mhm.
That's one of my favorite things. I am not good at that, but it's very true. Silence it's an intervention. In nursing, we say silence is an intervention. Um, but instead of decisions, maybe a better word is making actions that can't be undone should not be done at the moment.
Mhm.
There's no do-overs with the stuff we're working on right now, just in general.
Yeah. No, definitely. So for those of you that are in here, because the title says that we were talking with Robert Mortem, I apologize. Robert Mortem is I don't know where Robert Mortem is.
He's MIA at the moment. We hope he's okay.
Yeah. So hopefully he's okay. And oh, would you stop? Like, stop. My computer keeps telling me, like, yeah, you need to do the show. It's like, I'm already doing the show. Fuck off. So, I'm gonna check one more time, see if nope, he hasn't seen it. So, but we can still talk about the topic though, right? So we're talking about magical manifestation, right? And the different ways that magic can manifest. Doesn't Yep, it can manifest like, Mystic throwing his arms in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Got some weird shadow
I am
puppet shit going on
manifesting.
behind him.
I know, right? I don't know how to do the whatever.
You kind of
Can
look
do
like
that.
like looking at it like that, like you kind of look like a weirdo teddy bear. Like I can see like the ears.
I've been called worse. We have
So
manifested a beautiful day today.
there you go. There you go. So manifestation. So when we think of manifestation, I think the initial idea that we think of when we think of manifestation is more of a Hollywood kind of manifestation, right? Like that's like kind of like the first thing we think of is like making like something appear, right? You're pulling a rabbit out of a hat, right? Is what we think of as when we think of manifestation. It's not too far off from the truth, but the universe doesn't move that quickly, right? Like you ask for a rabbit, you're not going to be able to pull it out of your hat. You might find an opportunity to get one as a pet, or you might find one run over on the road, if you're not too specific about it. Um, Still a rabbit, dead one, but it's still a rabbit. So we have to kind of be careful how we talk about like manifestation, what we want for manifestations. I think Dyra made a really good point about this multiple times, talking about like, you say you need money, you're not very specific about how you say you want to get that money. A relative ends up dead, and then hey, you know, you you fall into some money. I think the type of manifestation though that we're going to be talking about is I want to talk about kind of like the process of coming to full fruition on our magic, right? So when I firmly believe that manifestation happens when you work on yourself, when you work on the parts that you need to work on to make your desires happen. Um, that's when manifestation actually starts to kind of take place, right? I personally believe that when it comes to magic, there's a lot of mundane magic that you can do for money, for jobs, for a bunch of different things. But I think when you focus on magic in a sense of higher power, gnosis, understanding yourself, understanding the world around you, things kind of start to happen. You're able to actually use your own energy to kind of almost like Moses, kind of like part the sea when you need to. Um, so to go with this, Mystic, how about you start? Like your idea and concept of magical manifestation.
I think it's very similar to what you mentioned. It's changed over time. I think your initial, what you said, is probably what I think of manifestation 20 years ago. Manifestation now is an extremely like two-part process. If you need to lock her in the back, Brad, please feel free. She's barking like every 2 seconds.
Ah.
Um, so I think it's a bunch of different things at once, right? We can manifest things, we can manifest stuff, we can manifest feelings, we can manifest ideas. There's a lot of things. Manifesting is very similar to me to creating. When we talk about it in the mundane world, it's literally the first step. It's not the whole process. It's the first step of magic. It's what do you align in the mundane world in your world to prepare to manifest something. And then when we talk about the magical manifesting that you mentioned, that is getting your mind and your spirit right to also align with that thing that you're doing on the physical world to manifest what it is you're trying to manifest. And in the end, using money as the example, when we first start out, and maybe even not when we first start out, maybe this is some of the things that have happened to some of our fellow magicians and witches that have, fallen off kind of on the bad side, is that we initially want to manifest money as our example, but then we learn we want to manifest happiness. And maybe money can help that sometimes. Maybe the money we need is for safety and security because we're going to lose our house. And what we're manifesting is safety. We have to learn what it is that we're really looking to manifest and what that changes, as opposed to what is the means to get to that. Because that is what, to me, this is different maybe from some people, but that is where the universe just can step in and start putting what needs to happen. To me, that's the whole magic of magic, right? Is this, I've done things in the physical world, I've done meditation for my mind, and I've done some maybe devotion or some ritualistic work for my spirit. Now that all those things are aligned, I'm going to manifest whatever it is I'm looking for, but not the means to it. I don't necessarily agree with having to specify all the details of things. So again, if we're using just money as the example, I just don't ask for money. I ask for, I really need a way to make sure that I keep a roof over my head, if that's what I'm worried about. And that's the other thing that I do want to point out too, and I just said it, and it's kind of one of the things that annoys me about magic in general that I'm still trying to adjust a little bit, is we tend to try to manifest things when we're lacking. It's very different from manifesting when we already have what we need. And we have to accept at some point that we have what we need. Like I honestly, in my life, we have everything we need. We are in a really good place, which is rare. So manifestation needs to be more about how I can put things in better alignment and make things better and learn, improve myself, get more knowledge, get more experience. Those are the things I need to manifest now. And so that's really what magical manifestation is about. It's so much more than just what we originally start with, just creation, or it's making, or asking for money.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
that's
on
a
that
big
note,
piece.
on the note of what you just said, though, like there's kind of a point that I want to kind of add on to, and then Rook will come to you. But where you're talking about kind of like we always kind of look to manifest when we're lacking, or we always find something to lack in, right? And I think what's missing in a lot of magical practices is gratitude. Like gratitude for what you already have, understanding that your path has gotten you to, a point where you're at. Like, I mean, if you're in a good spot, I mean, I sit and look, I'm like, if I'm able to spend money, like we talked about, a couple pairs of shoes that I picked up, right? The Converse and the Doc Martens. If I'm well enough off, right, to say yes, I can justify the choice in purchasing a pair of Doc Martens or a pair of leather Converse. I think I'm in a pretty good position, right? Like I'm pretty. I think I'm in a pretty good position that I can look at and say, I have what I need, right? There's food, there's a roof over my head, there's warmth. There's a lovely woman sitting behind me, that is very attentive, even when she's sick. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think when we go into ritual and we kind of focus on what I love, for example, would I like a better job? Yeah, I definitely would like a better job. But I think that um, understanding what you have to be grateful for can empower you more to move forward and obtain more. Because I always believe in the idea of being grateful doesn't require you to settle or stop aspiring for more.
Yeah. I think that it's going to be interesting to hear Rook's take on it, because I know gratitude is a really big part of what he does and talks about, um, in general. So, but that to me, that's what mind, body, and spirit really is. That's
Hmm.
that's the whole thing, is getting those. That's one of the Triskeli is one of the symbols that's always really spoken pretty close to me, because it kind of represents those three pieces always, working together with what is known and what is not known. So occult in a way.
Hmm.
And then manifestation is on all three of those levels. What am I manifesting in my mind, my body, and my spirit? And when those all come together, you get some good
Yep.
shit. And part of manifesting in the spirit is gratitude.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Rook, you're up.
Hey, so my idea of what manifestation is also changed. So to manifest, literally to show something clearly through signs or actions. If you would have asked me 10 years ago, I would have said, I manifested, you know, getting this job with a higher salary or whatever. But going back to the gratitude piece, it's life changing. If you just go outside and take a second even to look at the sunrise or the sunset, or look at the car you have, or whatever it is, it's almost like it definitely attracts more happiness and contentment for you. But I like to think, for manifesting now, to me, if I want something, of course, we have to do the work. I see the end result like I have it. I don't think I want to get this or whatever. I'll just see it. I'll see it. I'll see it. I've got it. And then I go and work. Like it takes work, and I think the things we use, to build up energy and help us focus on that work, whether it's candles or incense or crystals or nothing or dirt or whatever, railroad spikes, helps us to focus in on that work and get it done. I tell people all the time, I run a building and people come up to me and say, I've been here and I need a raise. And I say, okay, well, what do you feel that you've done? Have you taken a class, or what is it that you've done to manifest a raise? And sometimes they'll say a cuss word, and then sometimes they'll come back and with ideas of things that they can do and are valuable. And those people, they manifest a raise. But it's no longer for me like I've got the job that pays this amount. It is more about being happy and enjoying what you have and what you do. And if you have the very first thing is just, I have it already. I can see it in my head, and it's the work. But gratitude, that is a huge, huge thing, because like you both mentioned, we tend to ask for things sometimes when we're in a bad situation, or when we're greedy or just want something. So
Mm-hmm.
I think
That's
that's
true.
huge. Just to appreciate what you can every day, and it just makes a huge difference. And maybe that is manifesting happiness.
I think the idea of manifesting happiness. I mean, both of you have mentioned this. Um, I think I think it's really hard to kind of put your finger on what happiness is. I think happiness is like one of those abstract ideas, that like it changes with the wind, right? Like I think that you can be generally grateful and, yeah, I mean, I would say generally happy with your life or your situation or whatever. But I think that happiness is in the moments of being able to absorb what you're grateful for, right? It's living inside that gratitude. So, for example, to say that I am grateful for my partner, right, is one thing. The happiness aspect of that would be being able to be in the moment with her and enjoy those moments and allow myself to be happy in those, those moments of time where we're together, we're doing something together, or we're talking about something, like allowing myself to exist in that gratitude is what creates a happy moment. And then it is a series of happy moments that turns around, and you can generally say, I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with this situation, is when you're able to accumulate enough of those moments. I mean, Mystical, what do you think?
Well, I think the easiest way for me to say it in a sentence is happiness is a confluence of events that start with joy, right? So little moments of things that create the emotion to me is joy, not happiness. Happiness is kind of like a state to me. Joy is the emotion, right? Um, and when we have moments of joy and just even comfort, all those things come together and create this state of happiness. And when that is your end goal, the means becomes those moments that you spend together, those moments of joy, those moments of things that work. And those things are driven by manifestation, which in turn are driven by us aligning those things, aligning ourself, aligning our world, our physical world, our emotional world, our psychic world, our all those worlds together. When they're aligned and we're doing things in each one that represent what's happening to us, it sets our environment up to be happy. But we can't experience happiness until we've had moments of joy with people that provide that to us. And no matter how introverted you are, there is a moment where another person is required to have joy in certain places. I mean, I'm not saying you can't be happy without a person. I'm just saying, like, to experience that with somebody is where happiness comes from.
Yeah. I think there's a point that you made there that I kind of want to tap into a little bit more. You mentioned safety, right? I
Safety
kind
and
of like,
security.
yeah, I kind of like the idea. I don't necessarily think that like joy is the only aspect, like you said. Like, I mean, so there's a lot of
Mhm.
things that go into having that sensation of happiness or overall happiness with your
Yep.
life or whatever situation you're talking about. It could be your job. Like you want to get off of relationships, you talk about your job. It's the same thing. Um, there's an accumulation of different things that happen that allow you to turn around and say, I'm happy with this. Right. So I agree. Happiness isn't necessarily like an active emotion, but rather kind of a state of being, you know? Um, and I think manifesting it, I think that that's another thing. It's like, so I think going back to gratitude, and this type of manifestation, is if you're not grateful for your situation, if you're not grateful for your job, if you're not grateful for the people in general that you have in your life, you know, that will show in your actions and how you treat whatever it is that you're lacking gratitude towards. That your performance at your job will lack if you lack gratitude for your job, right? If you're not grateful for it. Um, your performance in your relationship of being a caring person, of being a safety net for your person, or you know, um, a good brother or good sister or whatever, you will lack in those areas when you are not grateful for that thing that you have. It'll be a noticeable lacking in it because you're constantly worried and thinking about what else you want, what else you could have, how could you make it better, right? How could you do better? And when you live like that and you're not grateful for what you have, those are those situations. I think those are those big lesson moments, right? Where you kind of learn when you're not grateful for something, you don't show the gratitude for the thing that you have, you lose it. And then when you
Hmm.
lose it is when you feel that gratitude for what you had, but you no longer have it. And I feel that you're able to better manifest the things that you want when you work inside of gratitude. And so to come full circle, how does this work with magical manifestation? Um, Magic, by my definition, is a movement or manipulation of energy. Right? That's what magic is. Manifestation of magic is sometimes it happens quickly, sometimes it takes time. Like it really depends. Like when you're doing a spell, when you're doing a ritual, like that movement of energy, it could take a couple of weeks, it could take a couple of months. Shit, I mean, there are moments it could take years. It could take years. But eventually, what you're working towards will manifest. And if you're working in a way where you're grateful for what you have and you're aspiring for improvement, and I don't want to say for something better, because if we're talking about relationships, right, that means you're constantly waiting for like the next person to come up that like could potentially be better than the person you're with. So I don't want to put it that way because that sounds a bit psychotic. But it's more so of kind of like being grateful for what you have and identifying what you can do better and then have that reciprocated, right? And that will manifest in interpersonal relationships as stronger and better relationships with the people that you have. You'll begin to develop and grow inside of that, and that's all. That goes back to putting your work in, your energy forth when you're doing something. Right now, you can't control what somebody else does. You can't control whether or not if you're in a relationship or want to be in a relationship and that person doesn't reciprocate. You can't really force someone to act a certain way that they don't want to act. But if you're in a situation where you are getting some reciprocation, as long as you keep improving and they keep improving because both of you want to improve, that's manifestation. That's the manifestation aspect. It's putting your own energy in and getting back what you put in. Does that happen all the time? This is an important aspect of this. Does it happen all the time that when you put energy in, you get the same thing back? No, it does not happen all the time. Do not expect that to happen. But there is no reason not to put your best foot forward in any and all situations. Because the only thing that can happen when you put your best foot forward is better shit. Right?
Here to that.
Right, and know the boundaries as well. That's another thing. Know the boundaries. Like this, I'm also not telling you to be a doormat, right? Like there's fine lines with this shit that you need to pay attention to. But the magical manifestation that happens over time, and it happens through us. We're the conduit, right? When we're moving and manipulating energy, we are doing that. We become a conduit. We become a catalyst for the energy that we're moving. And so the changes in our lives take place as we begin to change to obtain the things that we want. Change habits, change patterns, change associations, places, right? Those movements create the manifestation through us. Now, you could turn around, some might say, well, then what does the magic actually do, right? If it's, your energy that's doing this, then what does the magic actually do? Like, do you need the magic to do it? Not all the time. You don't need it all the time to do it. Sometimes the magic that's happening is just the realization that you're able to do it. Coming out of that ritual, coming out of that that meditation, coming out of that spell. Sometimes it's just the realization that you have more power than you thought you did. Sometimes that's all that's needed. And sometimes maybe there's some pieces moving in the background as long as your energy is in line with what you're looking to get. There's some pieces moving in the background to kind of help you get a better jump on things. Now, Rook, I'm curious, like, what is your take on that? Like, do you agree with that? Do you disagree with that, Rook? Also in conjunction with what Mystic said?
I definitely believe it's in the mind, and sometimes the magic for me is to have a change of mind, or to change my mind on something, or to become aware or enlightened about something. I the thing I've talked about before a few years ago. I really didn't work as hard to get that job. A few years ago, I foolishly tried to do some magic with elementals and things that I had no knowledge or business doing. The only I mean, I just had my experience in my job really, which wasn't but a couple years by that point. But I focused on that magically and intently, constantly for 2 weeks, and then it just came crashing down, and it was a bad situation for a couple
Big crash.
months to where I didn't work. But then, and even the company I was going to said, "Oh, that's no problem. We will, once you get everything cleared up, we will pay you, whatever it was, the amount of money you would have made during this 2 month time." And they did. But when I started that job, every freaking day was miserable. So I had more money, but I was so miserable. I mean, it didn't matter. I didn't want to go out and do anything or spend it. So that the gratitude piece really is huge, because I think if you're grateful for things like your job, you're asking, what this is what I'd like to do within my job or my means or my talents and abilities. But you're right. It doesn't always take magic, and sometimes it's slow, and sometimes it's fast. But always keep the gratitude, because you be careful what you wish for and be specific. That's what I learned. Be very specific.
Yeah, definitely. So
Yep.
also a random thing that might be slightly off topic, but I think I need to put this out there. So because we're talking about magic, we're talking about the power of magic, what magic does, what it can do, and what is with these people and their obsession with
Punish Me,
Lilith.
Lady Lilith. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been trying to mute a couple of them too. They're nonstop.
yeah. I mean, I managed to mute two of them, like the backup 5 and backup 4, but whatever. Uh,
Oh, sorry.
yeah,
I'll
they're
keep
at
my
it again.
eyes out.
But so if you're a practitioner in magic, you're a magician, and you want to do magic to um, kind of help a medical issue, go for it. Like, there's no problem with you practicing magic to help with a medical issue. Um, I think this goes into like the limitations here. But if you're somebody that's purchasing magic from somebody else, do not come to a magician of any kind for any type of medical cure. Don't do it. Um, we're not beyond science, right? Um, we're not doctors, and yeah, that can end badly. There are limits to what magic can do. Like we're talking about. Sometimes you don't need magic to begin with. Sometimes it helps, and
Well,
then there's a point where it's just like, okay, go ahead, Mystic. It
I
looks like you
just
got some.
from a medical perspective, I think about that, how true that is, but it also is a reminder back to mind, body, spirit. I know not everybody believes that. Like everybody has different thoughts, but um, it's the same conversation I have with people that, like, you're a nurse and you have a master's degree and you believe in essential oils. I'm like, I don't believe in essential oils. I know for a fact that certain chemicals and things have effects on human beings.
Mhm,
But would I try to cure cancer with an essential oil? Probably not. It's that same mindset of, using magic to heal. It's very different than trying to have magic as a cure, but it has to be with all three parts, or whatever parts you believe in, right? Mind, body, spirit, whatever it is.
mhm,
And that's the thing that kills me when I was having some medical issues, and they were pretty significant to the point where I could barely walk.
mhm,
Um, I did magic. But guess what I also did? I followed a treatment plan. I consulted my nursing knowledge. I did some physical things, I did some mental things, and I
mhm,
did some magical things. And it took all of them to get the outcome I was looking for, which was not, can you fix this problem? It is, can you help me find a better way to be healthier so that this doesn't keep happening?
mhm. That's
But I
okay.
had
Yeah.
to align all of those things together. I couldn't just do one or the other,
Yeah.
or because the medical, to be honest, the medical thing wasn't fixing the problem. It kept coming back.
Mhm,
The magic thing doesn't fix the problem, but all of them together, pretty powerful stuff when you're aligning those things up. And I think that is, again, when you talk about gratitude, the gratitude part is not the woe is me. That's your mind. That's setting your mind straight.
Yep.
Because if you're not in the right mind space, you don't heal.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
So
you're completely right. I completely agree with you on that. I think that there are many situations where all aspects are necessary.
it's true
Um,
too, though. Like if somebody comes to you is like to do magic and is like, hey, I need you to do magic for me so that you can fix this problem, whether it's medical or not. That's just not how it works.
yeah, no,
Like,
it's definitely not how it
it
works.
would- yeah.
Yeah,
I
no.
was gonna, here you go. Drink this toad oil. Like, yeah, it's gonna kill you. Then you don't have your problem. You know,
Yeah.
might
Well,
be a
no, I
little
mean, it's like
disingenuous.
it's just like if somebody comes to you, like if somebody out there, if you have like an incurable virus of some kind, and you pay a practitioner, you go to a practitioner like, hey, cure this for me. I'm tired of it. It doesn't work that way. Like if science hasn't been able to figure out how to kill it, I don't think that magic is going to. We're
Magic will
talking
cure your mindset about it.
that's a possibility. Yeah, I mean, you might
Yeah,
help you
possibility,
with
not a
acceptance,
given.
right?
Yeah,
I
but
know go ahead.
I was just gonna say one thing, and then I'll shut up for a minute.
Okay.
One of the things that I really enjoyed hearing was, when it was a trans girl, and I can't remember her name. Um, but it's one of the big ones. It might have been like Laverne. I don't know, whoever it was. And she said, one thing that and this is not something that this person said only, like many people have said this, we all do one thing together. Every single human being ever in existence is going to do this thing, and that's die. And we spend our time trying to figure out what we're doing between the time we were born and aware to when we die. So why we focus so much on the things that make us sick or the injuries or the hateful things or all those things versus, you know, how we can focus on the things that are positive or that are going to get us through, because it's not the cure to that incurable disease or virus that you're talking about that is going to fix your issue. 10 years ago, certain things were curable and some things weren't. None of that really is the end point, right? The end point is, what are you going to do with the, sounds so cliche when I'm saying it. What are you going to do with the time that you have? And that is, to me, what magic has given me is the ability to enjoy that time better. That's where the
Yeah.
happiness thing comes in. My time is more happy now because of doing magic for things that help me grow and do stuff.
hmm No, I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, like it's and here's the thing too. Like you don't even want to say time left, right? Because you don't know. You could die tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
And so you could go to sleep tonight and just not wake up tomorrow. I mean, it's a realistic possibility.
happened to one of our friends.
Yeah, there you go. So it's
He went
like
to sleep, never woke up.
you just don't want to. It's definitely where gratitude comes in, because being grateful for what you have and wanting to enjoy the things that you have every single day is like, so important. Like, I mean, I know that like if I were to go to sleep tonight and I wouldn't wake up tomorrow, um, are there certain things that I wish I would have had a little bit more time with? Yeah, but I know that I've done everything I can to live my life to its fullest potential,
Yeah.
and I'm happy with that. I'm content with that. Um,
I think that is probably the hardest thing for anybody to get to.
yeah, I mean, do I want to keep living? Is there more shit I want to do? Yeah, definitely. But I mean, if I were to die tonight, like I did the best I could.
Yeah.
I did the best I could with what I had, and I'm not perfect. Um, Not everything lined up exactly how I was hoping it was going to, but it never does. But
No.
overall, I'm happy with the choices that I've made. I'm happy with where I'm at and what I'm doing. And if I don't wake up tomorrow, I know that I lived my life to its fullest possible potential within the time frame that I had here. That's it. Like, I mean, there's really nothing else to it. And like you said, yeah, I think that's like the hardest thing for a lot of people to get to. And one thing I realized, being someone's pushing 40 here, um, it's
Ah,
not about the places that I've visited. It's not about Rook with the, he's like, yeah, because both of you are past 40, aren't you? Uh,
he'll be pushing 50.
um, but the one thing I've realized, it's not about the places that I've visited. It's not about the countries that I've gone to, or the touristy photos that I've taken. It's not about the foods that I've tried. It's not about the drugs that I did when I did them. It's about the people. That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
It's about
Yep.
the connections that I've created in my time here. That's what it's about. Like, and I think when you fully understand that, your life is, it's not about the events. Like, people talk about, like, oh, like, if I were to die tomorrow, what would I wish I had done? The only thing that I can say to that is spend more time with my family, the people that I call family. For me, it's not climbing a mountain, or, doing a drug, or going to a party, or no, it's about the people, you know? Um, and again, I think that plays right into gratitude, being grateful. Because when you're
Which plays
grateful,
into manifestation.
exactly, and it plays in the manifestation. Because if you have the right connections, you have the right people that support you, and you support them, you can achieve anything. So that's the important thing to, pay attention to. No one on their deathbed wishes they worked more overtime. No, exactly.
Right? That
So,
needs to be a T-shirt too.
right. I think it is already. Um,
I'm
but
sure.
if not,
That's
like,
a good point.
yeah, but we can definitely make that happen. Um, but yeah, this is true. Like, you know, when you're on your deathbed, if so, I don't want to be consciously on my deathbed. Like, I want to go to sleep and just not wake up, right? Like, I think that would be like the easiest way to go.
Oof. And I can't. That terrifies me.
Really?
Uh-huh. I want to be awake.
I mean, I want to know that I'm dying, but know that, like,
I'm I'm like in the incredible minority. Like I think I'm in the 1% minority, and I am dead serious on this. If dying in my sleep is one of my biggest fears, like that is worse than anything.
this is for Freddy Krueger shit
I
for you
like
then.
like if I would, and I know this is going to sound dumb because people are going to argue with me and they say no, you don't believe that. I was like, I think I would rather drown or burn to death than die in my sleep. Not that I
Well,
want that to happen. I'm just
right.
saying there's a fear there with being not knowing that it's occurring. Not that that's going to matter. And then you're thinking about those other situations. No matter how you die, when you're dead, you're not going to remember what it felt like to have pain. I don't think so. It's not going to
Yeah.
matter at that point. The easing of suffering is a human condition, and I'm not saying go burn everybody. I'm just saying like it's the idea of not being aware
Yeah, well, I
of
think that
that
falls into kind of
transition.
control, though, right?
Terrifying. Oh yeah. Oh for sure.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
because if you're aware of it, like, in a crazy situation like drowning or burning or something like that, then there's a potential to have control and save yourself. But, if I know that, like, I have a terminal illness and my body is falling apart in front of me, I don't want to suffer.
Do
I just, you know,
I don't want to go off too far on this, but do you dream a lot? Like, do you have a lot of dreams? Like
I,
real dreams, like when you're sleeping.
no, I don't. I mean, I'm sure I do. I just don't remember them. I wake up and it's like I was fucking dead.
There's a lot of people. This is an interesting study. I'll have to see if I can find it where people that remember their dreams are much more likely to be comfortable with wanting to die in their sleep. People that don't have dreams are much more likely to want to be awake. And part of that is because when I go to sleep, I don't recall anything and that time just lapses and I'm
Same.
completely non-cognizant.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm concerned. My fear is that I won't. I'll just fade away and be done, and there will be nothing. And then to have my personal gnosis and theories on death and what happens, that's difficult for me to reconcile.
Yeah, to
So
reconcile that. Yeah.
yeah,
No, man,
it's cognitive
I'm with you.
dissonance in a
I mean,
degree.
I
So
understand. For me, I think it's just the whole idea of suffering. Like, I mean, if I end up with like some type of terminal cancer, I've already talked to Ira about it.
no,
Like, we're going to like, I guess she'll take me like Sweden or wherever it is where they do assisted suicides.
yeah, there's a lot of places doing that. That's different. Like even for me, I think I could do that, knowing
Mm-hmm.
that that injection is causing that thing. I think I'd be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, effectively you still go to sleep, but you're aware.
Yeah.
You're making the decision at the time. I think that would be, if I had that option, I would do that. If I had a terminal illness and whatever, I would try to balance it as much as I could with how I felt because,
I mean, I'd try to
yeah,
fight. Like, I would fight. I'd put the fight in. But like, if it got to the point where like, yeah, there's just no fight left. Like, there's no
yeah.
out. Like, then I don't want people remembering me like, pissing, shitting, and vomiting on myself, Um, you know, yeah.
I don't
Like
know. There's certain people that I really wish would have to put up with that, but I could wish that on a few of my enemies. Um, but I think the cool thing about it is this um, it all reminds me of just there's a lot of discussion of near death events, and again getting off onto other things, but in the idea or thought of near death experience, there's the school of, is it your brain firing all of your memories or is it something more spiritual? I think it's something more spiritual.
same.
I think it's both. I think it's both. Those things are connected in a way that we just don't understand, and we shouldn't understand. We don't need to understand it, which is fine. But all of those things, that's the real manifestation, right? That's, if you look at it from an aspect of like, even do things actually exist in the object world? Everything that you have done in your life is gone. It's every single moment is past. There's no such thing as a future moment because those haven't occurred yet.
Yeah.
So all the things that you work with magic and do to manifest the things in your life and the choices that you've made or didn't make, to me are part of that process of manifestation
Mm-hmm.
of what's next.
Yeah.
I think those are part of those steps.
Yeah, no, definitely. All right, quickly, Rook. What is your idea in all this, and how would you prefer to die? Like, might as well, get your input on this.
Oh gosh, like it's that's something I've been thinking about lately. Like we really need to get our advanced directives and like living will together, because one thing that scares me about all that is like if for some reason Brian is not around when that happens, is not having things go like the way I want to. Number one, I don't want to be put in a damn coffin. I'm claustrophobic. I want to be cremated or buried in the ground with the trees or something. Don't you dare put me in a box. Okay, but seriously, I think lately, or strangely enough, I've been thinking about like not having kids and stuff, and like none of our family here. What I think more about that is like getting older and making sure that we have good connections. We don't like not a whole ton, but have connections with people that are important to us in life, because something you said earlier about even the most introverted person needs some kind of interaction once in a while. And I like to be, I like that. At work, I get in, I'm busy. I really don't want to be bothered. But one of the things I really am grateful for is there's about 3 or 4 people in that building that know I'm working and going, and they will come and check and make sure, did you eat anything? They'll make sure just that I ate lunch, and that's huge. Like, I'm really thankful for that. But getting back to the subject, my apologies. So I would want the ability to choose the physician assisted suicide. This is something that actually a girl in my nursing class years ago did a big presentation on. I don't want to be unaware or be aware in pain or any of those things. I would, like you said, fight at first. But if there's like no hope for a good outcome and it's cancer or whatever has ravaged my body, yeah, I don't want to stick around for that. And to me, that is a choice. And that is death with dignity, and that's a good thing. Yeah, I would want to choose that in that case.
Yeah, definitely. I think on that, I think that's going to cover everything, that we wanted to hit up tonight. Brooke, thanks for joining. Everyone in the chat, even the crazy backup accounts that kept us on our
Right.
toes for the last hour. Uh,
Thanks for the practice.
all right. Thank you for the engagement. You think you're trolling, but the way the YouTube algorithm works, it's engagement, which means we get more views.
Oh, that's dark.
But yeah, thank y'all. You guys are fucking amazing. And as always, tell thy fucking self in the next one. Fuck out.
Deuces.